Take two. Right? If you're watching this on demand, it's only take one, so nice. Anyway, welcome into twitch.tv/Ice Cream Upwards. My name is Graham D. This is Baby. We are Ice Cream Upwards, and this is the Scoop, the UK's #1 video game podcast, if we do say so ourselves. If you're watching this on demand, you're thinking this guy's talking fast. Well, it's because I'm making up some time. We've already lost some time because my internet always craps the fucking bed, but you know what? We'll leave that alone. Anyway, this is the UK's #1 video game podcast, if we do say so ourselves. This is the Scoop, where we bring you the biggest, the best, and the breaking stories from the world of video games. We'll give you our thoughts and our impressions on those stories, but we want you guys, if you're watching this, if you're involved in the stream, or if you're watching it or listening to it on demand, we want you guys to give us your thoughts and impressions, then your thoughts and impressions on our thoughts and impressions as well. Nice. Doesn't make sense, but we'll go with it. Nice. So yes, we are live on twitch.tv/Ice Cream Upwards, where we go live each and every single weekday at 10 a.m. ish. So yeah, please do feel free, if you're watching this on Twitch with us, to get involved, because the live stream is turned into a podcast, a video on YouTube, and an audio podcast on iTunes, Spotify, Amazon Music, and Google Play. There's lots of places where over 200,000 people have watched this podcast on demand. So please do feel free to get involved on behalf of those beautiful people. Speaking of beautiful people, hey. Before we jump into... Yeah, cheers, mate, nice. Before we jump into the show, I want to talk to you about a few other beautiful people. !Astro, please do feel free to get involved if you need any headsets. So if you want to buy a headset, a secondary headset, and a headset for someone else, you want to upgrade, whatever it is, get yourself some A40s, maybe some A50s, maybe the A30s, maybe the A10s. Other numbers are available. But whatever it is, if you get an Astro headset, use the code ICECREAM and you'll save yourself 10% plus support us. And the same with chairs. If you need a sexy chair, maybe some ergonomic bad boy like this Zio that both myself and Baby are sat on, then you can use code !GT Omega or !chair, I think works as well, in the chat. And those are our chairs. And once again, you will get a discount code that will save you and help us. Nice. One thing that we haven't done this week, though, that has been picked-ish, is the loot drop. For anyone that does watch this stream on Twitch, if you sub to the channel on Twitch, we appreciate you, because you help keep the lights and mics on. And as you can see, across Bibby's setup here and across my setup here, there is a lot of lights, and there's a lot of mics, and there's even more in the studio. So all of the subs that you guys throw down are supremely useful. As a result of that, we want to give a little bit back to everyone that does subscribe to the channel. And that's why we have the monthly loot drop, !loot drop, if you don't know what that is. Basically, anyone that's a sub gets thrown into a hat, not the people, just their names, because that would be a big old hat, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, we throw all the names into a hat. One person gets picked at random and they bag themselves a prize. This month... The first Monday that we're working on is not until like a week and a half's time from now. So we drew the names on Tuesday. We haven't actually done the draw because we've not been live with a scoop since. So towards the end of the show, we should potentially be able to do that. If we don't have the time for that, we'll do that and just post the video in Discord so you guys know who that is. But basically, one person will bag themselves a prize. Nice.
Fabulous.
Okay. I've lost the dog. He's clearly realizing he's not getting any chicken, so he's done a run. Bye, Milo. So yes,
he's out of here.
Nice. If you don't know what that reference is, then you're not watching this live on Twitch, because it will be in the pre-show. Yeah. For now though,
bullshit rigged.
This is bullshit rigged. Beans has won the competition already. Congratulations everyone for subbing, but you might as well not bother. Confirmed. Hey, by the way, please do feel free to sub the channel, because it absolutely does keep Bibby in his Lambos, and we need that, because you're always like.
I've got reputations to keep up. You know what I mean?
Goddamn right you have. So we are live on Twitch, where we are just about to start talking about the video game news. We would usually chat with you for a little bit. We'd talk about the fact that Bibby's got a nice new camera angle there that he's had to fiddle around with, because Nietzsche's just getting inside his head and destroying the stream as he's live on the internet, which is just absolutely shocking behavior.
Nietzsche is a bane of my life.
Exactly. Anyway, so we'll leave all that. We'll talk about video game news. And the main story that we're kicking things off with today is Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. One of the biggest games of the year, undoubtedly. It's not out yet, I'm assuming. So naturally, that game's going to be full-on embargoed. It's going to be super difficult to get your hands on it. You have to wait until launch day before you can... No, that's all bullshit. What I'm saying is it's already been leaked. So if you are interested in that game, be vigilant. Be on the lookout for spoilers. Sadly, one of the biggest games of the year potentially has been leaked early, and spoilers could be everywhere. Even ads, one of our very own community members who was massively hyped for this game, was posting about it was being recommended to him on Twitch. Someone was streaming it pre-embargo, and it was being fed to his face. So yeah. Warning, we will cover that article. I don't think the article has spoilers in it, naturally, but we will cover that as our main article. Obviously, if you don't even want to hear about the fact that there's spoilers, then feel free to jump off, but that's where we'll begin things. We'll then spork about? We'll spork about.
Yeah, what's spork?
It's not even like spork. It was Spencer. I mixed the word Spencer and talk, and we got spork. So yeah, Phil Spork, the dude at Xbox, no, Phil Spencer has done a really good interview-ish. I say really good at. I say ish as well because I haven't seen it. Because
caveats.
Yeah, exactly. Caveats on the caveats. It's a really good ish, I assume. It's good. No. The ish comes from the fact that he's done an interview with Kinda Funny. And like this isn't him doing an interview in text. This is him jumping on the Kinda Funny Xcast. Which, if you don't know that, Kinda Funny make incredible podcasts, all sorts of content, Twitch, YouTube, all the rest. But the Xcast is basically their Xbox themed podcast. I don't really listen to it naturally because it's an inferior console that only plebs play on. But still, if you're interested in that, I'm joking, sell down. But I don't listen to the Xcast because I don't listen to PS I Love You either on the flip side because I'm not really bothered about brand specific podcasts. I don't, even though I will play it for banter, I don't have a console allegiance. I tend to play on PlayStation a lot more, but I'm not necessarily aligned to it. So I don't listen to PS I Love You or the Xcast. But Phil Spencer has stepped out of his PR-filled office. Not that his office is overly PR-filled, but I'm using it to paint a picture. And into the studio for Kinda Funny, well, digitally, to take part in the Xcast, and has been brutally honest about Xbox's current situation. He said, there is no world where Starfield is an 11 out of 10 and people start selling their PS5s. He basically is saying Xbox, in certain ways, can compete with PlayStation, which is a brutally honest and kind of admirable stance. But last night, reading the comments on it, a lot of people took that as almost like a show of defeat. So we'll go over that and we'll see what you guys think. We'll then speak about Apex Legends. It's got a bunch of bugs in the game that has been fixed by a single line of code. My God, how does this happen in Apex Legends? There's that game from like historically that had a one or a zero. Yeah,
Aliens.
So
the 360.
So added a digit into the code and it fixed the game entirely. How does that happen fucking a million years later on Apex Legends, one of the biggest games of the last few years? God damn. After that, we'll speak about Lego 2K Drive's Drive Pass has been detailed with a year of content to come. And then it's Friday. You know, Baby's got a guitar. He needs a reason to get it out, and that is ! Free Game Friday. ! FF in the chat. We'll tell you about what game you can bag for free today. Nice. For now, though, babe.
Yes.
Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom. Is it on your radar?
It is.
Is it on your radar right now?
No.
Well, it could be.
It's not.
Oisin Kuhnke at VG247 has the article. It says, Zelda Tears of the Kingdom has already leaked, so look out for spoilers. The game is out in less than 2 weeks. I mean, less than 2 weeks makes it sound like it's not significant. 2 weeks is a long time in the world of video game content creation. So this game is already out in hands, and that's huge. Anyway, so into the article. A big warning to those perusing the internet over the next 11 days. Zelda Tears of the Kingdom has already leaked. Right out the gate, I'll say you don't have to worry about spoilers here, as I won't be sharing any. Nice. Appreciate that, Shane Kuhnke. But it appears that the game has leaked early, just under 2 weeks before its May the 12th release date. Currently, it appears that both photos and videos that apparently showing the game's opening have been shared online across social media, private Discords, and private live streams. So, safe to say, you should either put some mutes on certain words on sites like Twitter or stay clear altogether. As reported by VGC, the bigger problem for Nintendo is that the game has reportedly already been made to run on PC via emulation. Sheesh! Something that will make spoiling the game even easier. Emulation itself isn't illegal, though the distribution of ROMs is, which is historically something that Nintendo hasn't been favourable towards. VGC also reported that a boxed copy also seems to have been sold online, so if you're avoiding spoilers for things like box art, be careful of that. Last month, Nintendo shared Tears of the Kingdom's final pre-launch trailer, which finally introduces to rehydrated Ganondorf, which absolutely sounds like some sort of energy drink. But anyway, as the fandom, do you know what? I'll leave it there. We don't need to go through the rest of it. We got the idea. Zelda has been leaked. The physical box art is out there. The game in digital version is out there and has been emulated to PC already. So it's already been ported unofficially to other platforms. Sheesh. Thoughts, Mr. Bibb?
Yeah, I mean, it's becoming too much of a norm, this, across the board. It doesn't matter what game it is. I mean, Zelda is obviously one of the biggest IPs that you're going to get in video games. It's not one that resonates with me. I don't have the past where people have Ocarina of Time as their greatest game ever. That's the one that they grew up playing with, or Majora's Mask or something like that. I don't have that affinity with Zelda. I've played quite a few of them. I enjoy them, but it's not a game that I am rushing out to go and play, despite it being an absolute staple of a Nintendo console, whether or not it's a handheld console, whether or not it's a home console. They are must buys for most Nintendo fans. It's just not for me. However, there is a lot of people around me that are massive Zelda fans, and those are the people that obviously you end up feeling sorry for, because they can't now take part, in my opinion. Because if this is sort of something if this kind of leak was going around with Resident Evil, first thing I'd do, go onto Twitter, I'd be muting keywords. And then you fall into the trap of not being a part of the conversation in build up to the game coming out, a game that you're obviously looking forward to, because it mutes everything, not just people leaking stuff. There's no filter for that. It mutes everything across the board. So you lose that community aspect, that build up, that hype, because you're scared of going through your timeline and something coming up that you don't want to end up seeing. So it's a horrendous thing, not just obviously for the people at Nintendo that have been creating Zelda games and wanting people to buy into the hype and have it might be someone's first game, it might be someone's last game, so we'll call it their life's work, now being spoiled and out in the open. It's happening more and more nowadays, obviously, with the internet. I sound, again, every time we end up doing this show, I sound more and more like an old man. I've now started to wear glasses and stuff. But this never used to happen as frequently as it did, obviously, because the only way that you're able to take media is either via word of mouth. On some web pages back in the day, if you was lucky enough to be able to have the internet at your house, or some sort of magazine.
All right, old man.
Obviously, nowadays you can get you can have a spoiler while you're taking a shit on the toilet, just reading through Twitter on your phone. Do you know what I mean? Like, the standards have changed. The information is available at any given time now, whether you want it or not. It can just be put into your face. But yeah, it's a shame that this is probably it's probably going to be the game of the year. Let's be honest. It's definitely going to be in the conversation alongside, so far, Resident Evil 4. So, again, crying shame. And Hogwarts as well, yeah. I mean, I can definitely see that being a contender, but I also can see it potentially falling out of the list, or potential people on the board not wanting to put it forward. I don't know.
Just on that, that's an interesting one, because I was listening to Kind of Funny once again a few weeks back when they were talking about Tears of the Kingdom. It was maybe when that trailer they were mentioning that was and they were saying, do you see this as being a Game of the Year contender? And naturally within that, 1 second, Big Ham. Hi. How you doing? Welcome in, Big Ham. How are we doing?
Hey, sugar.
Appreciate the raid. Everyone dropping in from Big Ham stream. How you diddling? I was in there for a little bit earlier on. I was watching BLP clutching up Sanok games and all sorts of other stuff whilst I was working away. So, hey. I do actually feel guilty, though, because usually I'll drop into Ham stream. And what I do is I'll load... So when it's early morning-ish on a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'm usually sat on the couch with the laptop on my knee. Because that way I get to chat to Danielle a little bit first thing in the morning, get to see the dog, but then late morning I'll come upstairs and sit in this room. But like, I'll often go hi in Big Ham stream, but I'll type it in on my laptop or whatever, then close the browser down because I've got Ham on the screen, and then he goes, how you doing, Graham? And I'm thinking, oh fuck. So then I go back on and load up the internet, but by the time I've got it on, he's like 4 games later on, and I'm like, sorry. So yeah, hey, sorry. How you doing? Sorry, terribly sorry. So yes, we're talking about Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, which has been leaked. So the full game has been leaked. So there's people doing naughty streams, going through the gameplay. The video is already been ported to PC, so people have emulated it and will be playing it through there. So if if this is a supremely hyped game for you, you might have to take some steps to protect yourself from that. So we were talking about this is potential game of the year, and kind of funny the other week we're talking about, and we're talking about other games that could be in that conversation. Obviously for Bib, Resident Evil. For others, the other game that's really contesting it so far this year in terms of releases is Hogwarts Legacy. The bit I was going to mention then is, obviously that was a very...
Stay frosty, yeah.
Batman Dan!
Ice up, hello.
Ice up, hello. Did you finish Fallen Order? Have you got yourself Survivor yet? Did you get your Rogue One skins? Nice. Welcome in, Batman Dan. Appreciate you for that, dude. I'm excited for Zelda. My 7-year-old is loving Breath of the Wild finally. Let's go. Well, you've got not long until the game comes out. Obviously, this article was from May the 1st. It's now May the 5th. So it's only, 6 days-ish now? 7 days-ish until it's out. When is it? Is it next Friday it comes out, or is it Thursday?
What, Zelda?
Yeah.
I think it's next Friday. Let me just check that.
May the 12th.
I've had next Friday in my... Yeah, I've had next Friday in my...
Yeah.
Right, yeah. Sweet.
So yeah, a week until it's out. Nice. No, you wildly underrate my ability to procrastinate.
Yeah.
Sorry, mate. 12. Thank you, Talk Shows Unmuted. Appreciate that, dude. So yes, anyway, the conversation saying is Game of the Year contender so far. If Zelda is good, then Resident Evil, and then after that, you're looking at like Hogwarts Legacy, because quite a lot of the major releases this year have been a little bit below par. Not necessarily all crap, but 7s and 8s or Redfall. So like, there's not really much up there, but Hogwarts is definitely up there. The issue is though is there was a lot of controversy around that, and there still remains to be a lot of controversy around that. But should that have it excluded from that conversation? Because obviously, J.K. Rowling and her being a mega knob, does that invalidate Hogwarts Legacy as a piece of art? Is the question. I mean, it's been developed and has been sold and has been released, and people have purchased it and played it, and it has been Metacritic. But should that factor in that sort of conversation? I've never really considered that until it was I mean, I didn't really consider it then until we've just brought it up. But yeah, interesting. Interesting. I've played both, and Resident Evil 4 is clear. Finished that game 10 plus times already. Sheesh.
Now, being a Resident Evil super fan, I don't know how I can still hold that mantle, because I'm still yet to finish it, but I've just not had... It's just come at the wrong possible time, this game. I've just not had any time in my calendar to be able to clear it. Obviously, the first time round, I always want to do it on stream, and I've just not had the time to be able to stream any more than what I'm currently doing. Maybe I might get a little bit in tonight. We'll obviously definitely try and get it done on Sunday. Sunday is the day when I'm going to try and get that bloody game finished finally. But yeah, I think it's... I haven't played as many new releases this year as usually I would have done. Again, this all just comes down to having a very, very young child at the moment in time.
That's lies. Baby, stop playing Resident Evil so you can play some Dead Island 2, which means Dead Island is the far superior game. Fact. 100%.
I mean, yeah, we had that little launch day stream of it, which I was very happy about because, again, love Dead Island. I mean, to be fair, I've waited 9 years for that.
Yeah.
So there's a little small caveat. But yeah, hopefully I'm going to get that Resident Evil done this weekend. I need it out of my life so I can restart it again to get another playthrough of it, and then I can move on to something else. Like, I've downloaded Redfall. Everyone's slagging it off. But
so Bib is going to love it. It's going to be a 15 out of 10 for Bib, 100%.
I mean, I've seen the AI and it looks terrible. Like it looks a bit lifeless. But I need to play it for myself. I need to have that understanding. Like, it's very rare a game will get anything less than a 5 for me. As long as it's playable, usually give it anything over 5. But if it's genuinely like the game keeps on crashing, the AI isn't moving, the guns just disappear, and then it's anything below 5.
I did some hopping around because I was chatting to Sheepfragger. Check out Sheepfragger on Twitch, by the way, if you don't know who he is. So we were playing some games on Wednesday, and he was saying how bad he thought it was, and he was proper hyped for it. Mark was telling me how he was proper excited for it because Arcane have never set a foot wrong. And I was saying to Mark last week before it came out, I was like, I know you're saying that Arcane have never set a foot wrong. And you're right. But just be warned that the early reports are it's a little bit shit. And he's like, yeah, but Arcane don't make shit games. I was like, I'm not my words. I'm going off of other reviews collectively. It's a bit shit. And that's like early signs. And then it came out and it was a lot shit. But not just, the game's a bit flat or it's a bit lifeless. It's like literally like you'll be stood there and the monsters will just forget that you're there. And it's like, so the AI just doesn't exist. Or vampires that can teleport will teleport into walls and then not be able to get out of them. So they're just stuck half in a wall, flailing away. And then other things like the input's not working. So you press circle to crouch or X, whatever it is on Xbox, to crouch. And then all of a sudden it just doesn't work. Or you crouch and then you can't uncrouch and then you're stuck in the crouch position. Like it's just until you do some sort of fast traveling to make it work again. So
there was one thing that I saw of that, and there was 5 enemies in a row and someone was crouched behind them. And all of them was kind of looking at each other. So they just like crouch walked behind each one of them, meleeed them, killed each one of them as all the enemies was looking at them do it, taking out the enemies in front of them. And they wasn't doing anything. They didn't fire a bullet. They just kind of looked at them and waited for their inevitable fate. So yeah, it definitely has a lot of teething issues. I have full confidence that they'll be able to turn that game around. But as it stands, it's as far away from a Game of the Year contender as there possibly can be, and obviously one that we will move on to with the next story with Phil Spencer pretty much putting I say pretty much not necessarily putting some nails in some coffins, but some grand apologies are on the horizon.
Yeah, exactly. So just before I jump over to that one, Redfall looks diabolical, which is a shame as it's Arcane. Watch Worth a Buy's video on it. Drop the link if you've got it, Talk Show. It'd be good to see. So yeah, Arcane. One of the things that Mark, who's from our team at Jelly, who mentioned to me was that it's a new studio from Arcane. So it's like Arcane Texas or whatever word it was, which that's the only thing that makes me think, okay, well maybe now it's fucked up if they get some of the more established studios to go, fuck, this is what you should have done, maybe. But it depends on how deep rooted those problems are, because if that has already been given its death notice, can they save it? They might just go, fuck it. Okay, Redfall was a cool idea that we tried to do, but yeah, never mind. Let's move on, which I think might be the case. Which then, wrapping this up then. So jumping back off Redfall and Xbox, which we'll come back to in just a second. I just want to wrap up that Zelda Tears of the Kingdom has leaked. So if you are interested in playing Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, either be aware that you could have some significant spoilers, even if it's not full storyline spoilers, just cool graphical segments. If there's the start of the game has been released and leaked already, so if that's just a cinematic that's cool and you're only going to get to see it once, someone might show you that before you want to see it. So just be aware, which naturally does bring around the problem that Bibi mentioned earlier on, that if you're having to mute words and phrases to keep yourself clear of all the spoilers before you jump into the game, that's great, but you will also be missing out on a lot of the community content on that. So there's ways that you can get around that, but you'll have to do a lot of legwork, like muting keywords and phrases, but then only looking at content creators that you're interested in or outlets that you're interested in that you know that will give you the story without that. Just be vigilant, because I got The Last of Us Part 2 leaked for me in Bateson's stream while he was playing FIFA. So it can happen to you for anywhere. Some dickhead just thought, this guy's got 3,000 people watching him. I'm just going to start typing the end of The Last of Us into the chat, and he did over and over and over again. So it's part of the reason why I've not played The Last of Us Part 2 yet. I will get there eventually, but yeah, a great spoil for me. So yeah, shit people will do shit things, and sadly, shit people have already leaked Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Good news is it's only a week away, so if you are muting phrases, yeah, you will miss out on one of the key points of the launch window, but you've only got until next week-ish, and then you're good to go. Nice. Okay. Next article, though, and this one is probably the most significant one of the day for me. This is from Yin-Poole at Eurogamer, and the article says, Phil Spencer quotes, "There is no world where Starfield is an 11 out of 10 and people start selling their PS5s. That's not going to happen," says the title and the tagline. So we'll jump into the main article to give you, obviously, the full context. Xbox boss, nailed it, Phil Spencer, has insisted, I knew it was coming, that's why, has insisted making great games. Yeah, exactly. Xbox boss.
He's been looking at himself in the mirror this morning, repeating it over and over again.
You could do this, Grabe. You've got this. Don't let no one tell you can. So Xbox boss, Phil Spencer, has insisted making great games won't help Microsoft catch up on Sony and Nintendo in the console race, which is just a fucking bizarre opening sentence. Making great games won't help them catch up. What? Anyway, Microsoft's Xbox Series X and S currently lag behind Sony's PlayStation 5 and the Nintendo Switch, with sales struggling. And after the disastrous launch of Redfall, something Spencer has personally apologised for, Microsoft faces increasingly tough questions over Microsoft's ability to regularly release high-quality AAA games and the future growth of subscription service Game Pass. In a video interview with Kinda Funny Games, below, linked in the article, Spencer explained why he believes Bethesda's Starfield, potentially being a superb game, will do little to help turn things around for Xbox. There you go. You've heard it first. PS better. Nice. Let's go. There is no world where Starfield is an 11 out of 10 and people start selling their PS5s, he said. That's not going to happen. End quote. But why not? Why wouldn't great first-party games from Xbox move the needle? According to Spencer, Xbox's fate was sealed after it lost the last generation, which this is actually the first time I've ever heard this next few words put together. Quote, we lost a generation is basically what he's saying. But actual quote, we lost the worst generation to lose in the Xbox One generation, where everybody built their digital library of games, Spencer said. We want our Xbox community to feel awesome, but this idea that if we just focused more on great games on our console, that somehow we're going to win the console race, doesn't relate to the reality of most people. Like 90% of the people every year who walk into a retailer to buy a console are already a member of one of three ecosystems, and their digital library is there. This is the first generation where the big games they're playing were games that were available last gen. When you think about Fortnite and Roblox and Minecraft, and PUBG, the continuity from generation to generation is so strong. Oh, I didn't say PUBG, that was just in my brain, sorry. I see a lot of pundits out there who want to go back to the time when we all had cartridges and discs, and every new generation was a clean slate, and you could switch the whole console share. That's just not the world we are in today. End quote. Because of this, Spencer insisted Microsoft is trying to pitch a unique offering, one that includes Game Pass, cloud gaming, and the idea that games can be played on any device by everyone. Quote, we're not in the business of out-consoling Sony or out-consoling Nintendo, Spencer said, before admitting it has a little chance of competing with its rivals. Quote, there isn't really a great solution or win for us, he said. And I know that will upset a ton of people, but the truth of the matter is, when you're in third place in the console marketplace, not even second best. Sheesh. PS4 Live, baby. Sorry. Okay, great. Where do we go? I've lost it now. The truth of the matter is, when you're in third place in the console marketplace and the top two players are as strong as they are and have, in certain cases, very discreet focus on doing deals and other things that make Xbox hard for us as a team. Nice little subtle dig at exclusives there. That's on us, not anybody else. Our vision is that everybody who's on console has to feel like they have a great experience and they're a first-class citizen. They've invested a ton in our platform, but we're not in a position. And I see it out there. I see a commentary that if you just build great games, everything would turn around. It's just not true that if we go off and build great games, all of a sudden you're going to see console share shift in some dramatic way. We have this unique vision because we can see what creators want to do. Creators want to build games that can meet players on any screen. People play with their friends regardless of whatever screen they're on. And the console is the core of the Xbox brand. There's no doubt. So we will stay focused on making sure that the console experience is awesome. But I know some people want to hold us up as just being a better green version of what the blue guys do. I'm just going to say there's not a win for Xbox in staying in the wake of somebody else. We have to go off and do our own thing with Game Pass, with the stuff we do with xCloud, and the way we build our games. End quote. It's important to contextualize Spencer's comments by pointing out that Microsoft's proposed $69 billion buyout of Activision Blizzard. The Competition and Markets Authority's shock decision to block the takeover infuriated Microsoft's executives, who declared it bad for Britain. As part of its attempt to convince regulators to approve the deal, Microsoft has painted a dim picture of Xbox as it competes with Sony and Nintendo. Spencer's comments here reinforce this message. He is talking to regulators as much as he's talking to Xbox owners. And we can stop there. We don't need to go through the rest of the article. It is a great conversation piece, though. Phil Spencer says Xbox is not in a great position. Xbox is third in the marketplace. It would be stupid to try and push past two brands that are already supremely far ahead in a race that he's already losing. Instead, they should take a different approach, which is what they believe they're doing with Xbox Game Pass and xCloud. I know it's not called xCloud anymore, but I'll stick with that because it's just easier. So, yeah. Big games won't fix it. Is that something Phil Spencer believes in? Because, I mean, for me, we've said and seen and proved for previous generations that games can be console sellers. Multiple times we've seen that. But big games won't fix it. Is he saying that because he wants to dampen the impact of Call of Duty? Yeah, it's not a big game. It won't sell more consoles, honest. But he has 69 billion quid, even though it's not going to sell us anything. Yeah. Is that what it is? Is he speaking to the CMA here? Is he trying to show that Xbox is really bad and buying Activision Blizzard won't really change anything and it'll still be difficult because it's a different set? Either way, it's an interesting one. It's good to see someone being, air quotes, brutally honest about their brand like this. Exactly. But is it really brutally honest? Is this Phil Spencer giving everything warts and all, or is this Phil Spencer playing a brilliantly disguised PR game? What are your thoughts, babe?
I think it's a bit of both. Like, I think he's taking his punches with what's happened in the last 8 to 10 years. In regards to Xbox. Now, we cannot overlook what they have managed to do to gaming, because 14 years ago, they was laughed out of a convention center for mentioning an always-on console and pointing towards a digital future. And nowadays, that's all everyone wants. They want games on their mobile phones at the drop of a hat. They want to be able to play the latest and greatest on their laptop while they're traveling. And it's just, that is essentially what they've given them. However, his quote stating that there is no world where Starfield is in there 11 out of 10 and people start selling their PlayStation 5s, that's not going to happen. I can agree with, because even if you flip that around, like if no one was selling their no one was selling their Xboxes when Spider-Man came out to go and play Spider-Man. Like, people wasn't doing that. Video games are very tribal, and it's something that I hate more than anything in the video game realm. Like Team Blue, Team Green, Team Red, and then the rest of these guys that play video games on their PCs. I hate the tribalism, because there is an opportunity for you to be able to open your mind
Open your mind.
Open your mind and pretty much open your wallets. But I mean, if you wanted to try and get into the Xbox ecosystem, there has never been a cheaper time to be able to do that, to consume all of their... If you are a PlayStation 5 player and you want to broaden your horizons to be able to have access to all of these games on Game Pass, or just some of their first-party games, granted, the first-party games at the moment are a little bit toilet over on the Xbox side of things, but there is a completely different set of games that you probably would have just been laughing at the entire time and never would have given them the light of day. But actually, there's some stone cold bangers in there. I hate the egotistical part of video games. I hate the tribalism, because there doesn't need to be one. If you enjoy video games for video game's sake, then the whole world is open to you for you to be able to do that. And I do believe he's playing a very key role in here, and one that I never thought of until you were just thinking about it. Then you were just talking about it. Then with the Call of Duty acquisition with Active Blizzard, like, I do think he's pandering to that a little bit to try and get this over the line as fast as possible, because he's stating that who's going to buy an Xbox when we don't have the games. I mean, at this moment in time, they have nothing to offer but Game Pass. Like, their front of house offering for first party games is abysmal. Like Halo Infinite died on arrival. They didn't have a co-op campaign until
didn't even die on arrival. It was I don't know, not
it's
even
still circulating in space. It ain't even landed yet. They are lost up there. Sorry, taking your steam, but Halo, all the way through to Redfall now, any first-party major release from Microsoft, apart from what was the one that came out of nowhere,
about a month or two ago, maybe not even that. There was a game that just was like, oh, by the way, this is available now on Game Pass, and it was only about 8 hours long-ish, and that was really, really well received. I think it was in one of their last showcasey sort of things when they went, oh, by the way, it's available now. People downloaded it, played it, loved it. It was like 8, 9s, and 10s out of 10, but it was a really small indie-ish, obviously.
My name
released.
is Optimus Prime.
Whoop. NX.
Yeet 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 yeet. I need a new job. Yeet 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 yeet.
Yeet 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 yeet. I need a new job. Yeet 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 yeet. Welcome. Thank you for the 33 months and all of the yeets. And good luck with the jobbage. You can have bibbies if you want.
Yeah, please do.
Easy dubs. Easy dubs. Can't remember what I was talking about. The yeets have absolutely completely caught me off guard.
It was a new game. It was a game that came out a couple of months ago that I am frantically trying to find. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, whatever it was a different.
High on Life.
That's it. I think that's it. High on Life. Yeah.
It was before. I think it was before Christmas that came out. But anyway, it still
one,
included in the.
It literally only came out like.
All right.
6
Yeah,
weeks
High on
ago.
Life came out 13th of December.
It's not that one then. Do you know what? I'm going to look for it, but I can't bother. It's not that important. I don't need it to tell the point. Whatever it was. So most games that Xbox has released haven't really been that. They haven't been successful. And nobody can argue against that. Genuinely, multiple different ways you can crunch it. Xbox just are not delivering IP and successful IP. Specifically, even their biggest brands like Halo. I watched an episode and a half of the TV program, genuinely fell asleep watching that TV program. I will go back and watch it again, but it was a bit meh. And for all intents and purposes, the game was the same. Apart from Forza, which was a bajillion years ago, there has been nothing else. So not only is this danger of another year where Xbox goes by without a major substantial cross full market coverage game that has been hugely well received. But at this point, 3 years into the generation, we're looking at, is this not just going to be another year, but another generation where Xbox doesn't succeed? So coming back to the comment that's in the title that Bibi touched on, there is no world where Starfield is 11 out of 10. And then people suddenly start selling their PS5s to go and play it. But we are already in a world where people will go out and buy 2 consoles. That didn't used to be a thing, but that is a thing these days. Not always, but that is a thing. And people do sell their consoles and change environments. I mean, just ask Enix. He sells his console every 5 seconds and gets a new one. Goddamn. But that does happen. But there is definitely an environment where people will buy a console based on a specific game. The Last of Us is a console seller. You cannot tell me any different. Spider-Man is a console seller, partially fueled by the fact that it's not just a PlayStation game, but it is just on PlayStation, but it's got that Marvel Cinematic Universe oomph behind it. It's not part of the MCU, but it's still, it carries the weight of that. And it's done not only just some cheesy movie cash-in, it's done to a supremely high level. And that's what PlayStation has and recognizes. That's what Nintendo has. So yeah, great. It's got a lot of hardware and it's got a great install base. But it's about the IP that they put out. The Wii U was a sack of shit. But they managed to get back on that because they thought, you know what, okay, not only do we need a decent install base on the hardware, but we need to release games like Zelda Breath of the Wild. That was all right on the Wii U, but it didn't have enough to keep the console alive because one game can't do it. So yes, releasing Starfield has been 11 out of 10 and people suddenly go, ooh, I'll buy an Xbox now and then have nothing for 3 years later is not going to do it. But releasing Starfield now, after releasing a 9 out of 10 Redfall, and then releasing Forza main game, not Horizon, which is a 10 out of 10 racing game, and then releasing Halo, Gears of War, whatever, new IP for Xbox, that hit after hit after hit will make people buy a console. So by minimizing it and saying one game is not going to sell a console, correct. But multiple games, multiple versions of one game will sell a console. And that has been proven. So people will spend money on The Last of Us because it unlocks Horizon Zero Dawn. It unlocks God of War. It unlocks Days Gone. It unlocks Spider-Man. And keep going, keep going. But you buy an Xbox Series X to play Starfield, yeah, you're not going to unlock Redfall. Great. Fucking, I mean, you do. It does. It unlocks everything that's on Game Pass. But none of that really is just Xboxes. And that's the bit that Xbox still needs. So I do agree with what Phil Spencer's saying. But I do think he has angled that very much in a way that is like, hey, CMA, look how bad we're doing. I know we are selling millions more consoles than we did last generation. I know our percentage market share is up significantly, and we have tons more subscribers than we did in previous generations. But woe is me. Please give me the Call of Duties, please. No, that's what it reads like to me. So yeah, God of War, exactly. God of War, yeah.
Yeah, there's an even bigger conversation around all of this though. Like, how many people nowadays are just buying next iterations of console for the sake, especially since the digital age, like, because the physical media didn't necessarily work with, like, the PlayStation 3 games, you couldn't put them into your PlayStation 4. There were versions of the PlayStation 3 where it were backwards compatible with your PlayStation 2 and 1 games, but there was no way that you could put a PlayStation 1, 2, 3 disc into your PlayStation 4. Like, how many people, out of convenience from the later PlayStation 3 generation into PlayStation 4, just bought a PlayStation 5 because they have that ecosystem placed on their account? They're logging in with their username and password, and they have all of their digital downloads from the previous generations. I can guarantee, and I'm going to go as high as about 85% of people bought a PlayStation 5 because they have had the previous consoles. However, there would have been a period in time where people would have gone PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2. They probably had the original Xbox as well later on, because there was quite a bit of time difference between the release dates of those consoles, and then went for PS3 or Xbox 360. The people from Xbox 360, I can pretty much guarantee, moved over to PlayStation 4 based on the numbers of units sold for PlayStation 4. So there definitely has been instances where the console generations of people who are consuming video games on those particular consoles would have shifted and moved over, overlapped, whether or not it would have been the marketing that would have surrounded it at the time, whether or not it would have been, and most importantly, the price of the consoles when they came out, not to mention the first-party games that would have been tied up with them. So the IPs that would have come out for PlayStation, your likes of The Last of Us, your likes of God of War, those games would have been going up against the likes of Gears of War, Halo. So there's so many different twists and turns in all of this console generation stuff. And this will never change overnight. This will always be a thing, provided that consoles are being brought out and nothing ever goes into the cloud permanently. We're going to have physical consoles within our home. This will always be the case. There will always be peaks and troughs. There is a future out there where PlayStation don't make any good first-party games for a long, sustained period of time. It's inevitable. They cannot carry on making world-class 9, 10 out of 10 games for the next 10 years. It isn't going to happen.
I disagree with that in terms of, I feel there is a chance that PlayStation will miss one or two hits, but because they've got so many strong studios with so many different strong writing teams, and so many different IPs. Like, if Xbox misses one, they've missed a year. Whereas if PlayStation misses one, they'll miss a quarter. So I feel like we may get 2 on the bounce, possibly 3, maybe even 4. They might have a full year, but then they'll probably fix that next year and come back with the other 5 that they've not released yet, where Xbox is like, so which one do we release this year? And hopefully we can get it better than a 7.
You see, I agree with that, but that's not necessarily to say that those games will be coming out in the same calendar year, because there could be instances where something gets delayed a year, then it pushes back the 3 bad games, and you think, okay, well, something might be able to slip in here. Turns out to be a bad game. Okay, the one that we push back might end up needing that extra bit of polish. 18 months later, that game still isn't coming out. Like, there is so many hit and misses within the video game world that you cannot see. None of us can see into the future as to what the video game spectrum holds, and who would have thought Gears of War now wouldn't be being made and selling stupid amounts of copies? Who would have thought 10 years ago that Halo would have been a flop on launch? Nobody. Nobody. You would people think that game would be selling.
My hands up. Got my hand up. Oh no, you said okay. Who? So me.
yeah, just the one person.
Just me actually.
But 10 years ago, that never would have entered anybody's minds. They would have been looking forward to what a generation that we're in now, a Halo game could potentially look like, and let's be honest, it looks pretty good. It looks decent, but there was no substance in that game that thinks, okay, I'm going back in today. If your battle pass is lasting 6 to 8 months, that is a fucking joke.
Yeah,
like,
with
that should
nothing
never
in
happen.
it. With it's lasted 6 to 8
never
months.
ever
Yeah.
happen.
The thing is, speaking
That
of
was
battle
execution on launch.
passes, like speaking of battle passes, this is the first generation where people are playing the games that they were playing last generation. And he mentions Fortnite, which is available across generation, Roblox, same, Minecraft, same. Obviously, strategically, didn't mention Warzone, which is available cross-generation as well. I wonder why he didn't mention this supremely successful game. Either way,
Get your God coins.
yeah, so he's mentioned these games that are available on any console. So people could, in theory, if those are the games that people are playing, and he's talking about the significance of digital libraries, if I didn't buy a PS5 and only got my Xbox Series X, I could still play Fortnite and have all of the skins that I've had. So that doesn't really validate his argument. People are playing the games that they played last generation, which the majority of them, this time not including PUBG, are fully cross-platform with your purchases and so on. So that doesn't really tie into the argument there. So the separator here is the big first-party titles. People are buying in to... So he's saying people are playing these games that they played the last generation, the Fortnites, the Roblox, and the Minecraft. But they can play them on any console. But they're choosing the PlayStation because they're getting that and access to a digital library, which you're giving, air quotes, for free with Game Pass. So what is the key differentiator there then? The fact that they are getting games that you can't get on Xbox that are good. And Xbox's games that you can get on Xbox that can't get on PlayStation are not. I mean, obviously... Not all Xbox's major first-party releases are bad and will continue to be bad. But where we stand right now, there's a lot of people that you will see it more and more are starting to cancel their Game Pass subscriptions. Like Netflix. People go, oh, do you know what, there's been no added. I'll add it back on again when something is there that I want to watch. When something comes to Game Pass that I want to play, I'll add it back on. But
I'm in that category now. I had mine rolling for nearly 3 years, just... Regardless of whether or not I was playing it, I had it rolling, and now I'm literally buying it in a month where I think that I'm going to get the most use out of it. I'll buy it back. Like at this moment in time, I'm not a rolling customer, and I was happy to support it. But there is a world out there where, well, I mean, there has been there is a massive decrease in people buying PlayStation 5 games at this moment in time for the £70 value. I did read an article earlier in the week saying this time last year when the games, might have been the year before, where games was around your £50 to £60 mark. The games were selling really well. Now it's gone up to 70. People are double. They're like, it's something that me and Levi actually was talking about earlier in the week. You know, if you've got 20 quid in your pocket, you can, if you see something in a shop, you can go, okay, that's kind of throwaway money. Like if it's really cool, I like it, I'll pay the £20
someone
for
hammering
it.
at your end.
But, yeah, someone is next door. I'll turn the gain down a little bit. Yeah, so the £20, you can probably get away with spending that you're happy with it. But someone, if it's £25 to £30, you're like, do I really want to spend the extra 5? Do I really want to spend the extra 10? And you think, actually, no, I'm not going to do that. And I think that's what people are doing PlayStation 5 games now, or Xbox games. But there is a world out there where people who do have PlayStation 5s who want to play Xbox first-party games, and they have a decent internet speed. They might not necessarily have the best laptop, but they can stream the games via, we'll call it xCloud for the sake of this, on their console for £1 if they've never done it before. So there is definitely pros and cons of having this world where Xbox are primarily focusing on consumers, and I say that isn't their primary for focusing on how people are going to be playing their video games. Their ultimate goal is for them to be able to sell the first party games to you, hence why they're spending 69 million on Active Blizzard to try and get these exclusives over there so that they can try and tie you in later on or long term. But there is a world out there where people might have the opportunity to be able to play these first-party decent Xbox games for £1, or for £8 if they've used it before. Like, it's absolutely possible that is the case. But it's a very weird world that we're in at this moment in time, where Phil Spencer's coming out and saying, "Yeah, we done fucked up." But at this moment in time, in 2 console generations, because he referred to the biggest mistake being the Xbox One world.
So they've already lost the last generation, and now they're behind on this one as a result. Yeah, it's an interesting article. Conversation. I've not watched the entire thing yet. the Kind of Funny Games Xcast. I'm going to go and watch that back when I get some time to do that, because I want to see it all in full situation. I want to see the nuances of the conversation, because when you pick out the headlines like that, it's easy to say, okay, maybe it's just a PR piece. Maybe he wants to sell it as, oh, woe is me, so we can get the Activision Blizzard deal over the line or whatever. But if that is the case, it's a ballsy take, because the general feeling around Xbox for the last year and the year before and the year before is wonderful. Best deal in gaming. If I was to recommend anyone who's brand new to video games a console, I would say get the Xbox, maybe even just go for the Series S so you can see whether you actually like games, but then you get access to the Game Pass catalogue. Woo! Yeah. But now, that's had its time in the light, and people are going, okay, yeah, but what next? You recommended me to get the Series S and Game Pass, and I've played all the games, and there's nothing new on there. But my mate who got a PlayStation, he's got new Spider-Man coming in September potentially, and he's got there's a new Wolverine game coming sometime after that as well. They've just had Horizon Forbidden West. There was a God of War not too long ago, and it's just like, yeah, okay, yeah. So I mean, I have both. I don't have overly a foot in either camp, but PlayStation, we've said, are for the payers at the moment. PlayStation aren't perfect, but they are doing their core principle of providing top quality gaming experiences that sell their consoles. And Xbox can't catch up with the console sales, fair enough, but you can increase what you're doing exponentially. I mean, I don't say fair enough. I fully believe that Xbox can get back into a console race.
Yeah.
Even though you may have lost the digital library generation, Game Pass changes that conversation for you. The fact that you give people access to a game library, free air quotes, voids that conversation. You still need to sell your consoles though, and that's where your first party games come in for me. Okay, let me jump back.
I just had a quick look then at the first party games that came out on the Xbox 360. Just to see if there's any that I completely missed. And an absolute throwback here. It's a game that you never would have played, Graham. I'm telling you this now. A game that you never would have played called Kingdom Under Fire: Circle of Doom, and I forgot that game
sounds
existed.
like a game I would never even want to look at.
I fucking loved that game, and I'm just having a look at the review scores now. 5 out of 10 from Eurogamer, 5.8 out of 10 from IGN, and of course, Bibby would probably give it an 8. It's a fantastic game. I fucking loved that game. For those of you that probably never heard of it, go and have a look at it.
Done.
It's a hashtag Bibby game. Absolute banger. I mean, it's probably not on Game Pass, which is a shame.
I've done it for you. Imagine, like, not Lord of the Rings. This is more like Leader of the Circles or something like that. It's definitely like knockoff Lord of the Rings, but like it's like Skyron. That's what we'll call it, Skyron.
Oh no, you're looking at the PC version, Kingdom Under Fire, Circle of Doom. That was the Xbox 360.
Is it even worse?
No, we see that was an RTS, the one for PC. It was an RTS strategy game.
Oh,
that
okay.
was terrible.
So now we've got different images on screen, and it looks exactly the same, but different, but
look
still
at that.
same.
It's brilliant.
Skyron.
It's so good.
Skyron. Not Lord of the Rings again, Leader of the Circles. 100%. Let's go.
It was so good, man. So good.
It's not for me. I'll pass. Okay, let me catch up with the chat. Enix, thank you for the 33 months. I appreciate that. Nietzsche says, "Gear up, Bret Hart, lad." and for anyone that's watching this or listening to this on demand, that was Bibby doing the Bret Hart theme tune, but Discord killed it. That's why we got pew. So enjoying the chatting so far, but that gentleman with the red hair and the beard is stunning with his new spec, says Precision TV. Woo! God of War breath. I got there eventually. I did mention God of War. PS3 was terrible to develop on, but Sony carried that shit with creative first-party games. Exactly. PS3 is the reason why you can't play Metal Gear Solid 4 anywhere, because of how closely intertwined the development of that game was with the hardware for the PS3 and the software with it. Well, the infrastructure for the PS3. That's the reason you can't play that game anywhere, because it would take a lot of legwork to see it somewhere else. But PlayStation made that happen by going, hey, here's a big fat wedge of cash, I assume. I don't actually know if that's how the conversation went. It probably went something like that. And then we got Metal Gear Solid 4 and other games, plus their own first-party games. They invested in making sure that good shit happened. And Xbox has a lot of good shit happening. So it's not all doom and gloom. Xbox, in my mind, is healthier than it was last generation and healthier than it was at the end of the previous generation. They were smashing it on the Xbox 360. I had a 360, I know. But, like, for me, it's not all doom and gloom right now. They just need to improve stuff. But by coming out and going, yeah, video games aren't really going to do anything, it kind of makes me think, wait, so you're giving up on making the games? What the fuck are you here for? In that case, then, yeah, it just becomes a Steam Deck. It's or a ROG Ally or something like that. It becomes a place for you to play other platforms' games or third-party games. Well, I can do that on my PlayStation. So if you don't have the exclusives, why am I investing in your box? Because if you don't sell me the consoles and you don't sell me the need for that subscription and I can play, oh great, I can play Final Fantasy on the go or other games by Square Enix or Ubisoft or whatever third-party developers. If you're not bringing me those games, then you either have to buy up all those developers so that they can't appear on PlayStation, or they will appear on PlayStation, and why do I need your subscription when I've already got my subscription with PlayStation? So then it does not work for me. They have to have good first-party games. So yeah, that's where they need to get to for me. James K says, Skyrim, baby! That's his weekend name. Halo and Gears are a shadow of their former selves because each iteration is more dogged than the previous. It's across the board, like, yeah, 100%. You look at that with PS games, absolutely the opposite case. PlayStation have built sequels by definition are inferior, but even PlayStation's best games, yeah, your 95 rated game, and then you get a sequel will come out as a 91, which yeah might be inferior overall, but it's still fucking great. Whereas Xbox goes from a 95 to a 4. For Redfall, which no. Microsoft needs to improve their games. I think Xbox is in dire times now. Agreed. I'm playing Mass Effect on my PS3 at the minute. All right, James K. He's not talking to you then. Me too. Don't tell anyone I said that. What, you're playing Mass Effect on his PS3? Game Pass is still good value. It's just not the great value it once was. Absolutely. It is for anyone that just enters the generation at this point. But we're already... Yeah, exactly. But then you've done it. Now what? To quote a very famous philosopher from a piece of media that you may have heard called Dude, Where's My Car? And then, there you go, famous philosopher. And then, what's next? Where the fuck do we go from here? I've played all of your games that you have on it. I didn't touch Apex or Fortnite or Roblox or Minecraft or whatever multiple first-party titles that you've said because, I've got them on my PlayStation. But I came over and I played all the ones you've got. And then, yeah, give me some more. Redfall is 70 quid. Are they Dizzy Blood? Exactly. That's what they should have said. Next time, Greg Miller, you get Phil Spencer on your show. Oh, it's XCast, so Greg won't have been there. Gary Whitter or Snowbite Mike, whoever was on it. Next time you get Philly Spencer in the studio, say, Redfall is 70 quid. Are you Dizzy Blood? And just leave it as that. He's got, yeah, sorry boys. I picked up the new Horizon in the week on PS5, 15 quid from Asda.
What?
Absolutely.
Oh, I did see that on Hot UK Deals, actually.
Bargain.
Yeah, I did see it as low as that.
Bargain. Yeah. Absolute bargain. I'm a huge Xbox fanboy, but even I'm questioning them, says Tito. Yeah, I mean, and it's understandable. Like, we've all known Xbox needed more games, more first-party games, but when they're releasing 4 out of 10 games as one of their only 2 foreseen releases this year, it's worrying. The only consolation is that there is rumours to be the Xbox Showcase, which we've covered a few times, coming soon. And if that is the case, I mean, obviously they've got the E3 one, if it's not that one. If that is wall-to-wall banger, nice. The downside is the last Xbox Showcase told us all the games that they were going to get over the next 12 months. A bunch of them haven't landed in this 12 months, and the ones that have been shit. So we'll see. Starfield is going to be bug-littered, as it's one of the staples in Bethesda games at this point. Yeah, we've said that a few times too. Fully agree. It really is feeling more Gamep ass. Yeah, less Game Pass, more Gamep ass. Fable, we only got a CGI trailer years ago, and that's nuts. Exactly. Looks like it's a nice Flash game. We're talking about, I can't remember, it's Kingdom of Circle Rings or something, I can't remember. Leader of the Rubber Ring, there you go.
Kingdom Under Fire, Circle of Doom.
Yeah,
Come on, boys.
That's what I said. Same. Iron Brew by Girders. Craig consumes roughly 12 cans of Iron Brew. He does, yeah, absolutely nice. Looking forward to the world premieres. Yeah, hopefully it's going to be great. Genuinely, I hope Xbox got. Oh, by the way, do you know we've been having a shit time and games aren't going to sell consoles? By the way, he is. Boom! Captain America's already been done by Ubisoft, isn't it? I know. Another Marvel Cinematic Universe superhero exclusive to Xbox, like Spider-Man's on PlayStation. Iron Man's been done by EA. I don't know who's fucking left at this stage. The Hulk game or whatever on Xbox exclusively. Something like that. Give us one of them, plus a Bibby game, plus some really cool cinematic stuff. And yeah, nice. Banana Man, that's the one. Correct. Salty Dog's got it. Nice. That's the one. Yeah. Big old Eric. How you doing, Salty Dog? Super Ted. Same. The thing is, they lost a lot of the people's trust because now in the showcase, even if the game looks good, I'm going to question, is it actually? And that's the thing. That's the thing.
Who was it that said that? Was it Viv that said that gameplay trailers should be 50% CGI, 50% gameplay? So it gives you an idea. Because the gameplay, the stuff that they're showing nowadays is just stuff that they've rendered out in an engine to make it look fantastic. No HUD, no any action sequences that are being controlled by a human being, like the day before, for instance. Obviously that was clear as day that was being programmed in for someone to not miss a single shot when the zombies were coming running and stuff like that. But wholeheartedly agree, it should be 50% gameplay and 50% CGI, even if it's a minute long. Make that bitch 30 seconds CGI, 30 seconds.
I'd say more.
And then smash them together.
I'd absolutely say more. And then when you flick to your CGI shit, it should be a case. I don't want the one bit at the beginning of the trailer that's on for like 0.2 seconds in size 1 PX print, not in gameplay or whatever. I want it to be like when it goes to it, some big flashing watermark that says this isn't the gameplay. This is a pre-rendered thingy. Like I want to know what I'm looking at in that sort of sense. Give me moments where anyone that's watched my streams will have seen me hitting an absolute worldie of a headshot, jump, spin, 360 no scope, some guy, boom, once every month. Most of the time, I'll be missing a shitload of shots, and I might hit one, and a shitload more, and I'll hit another one, and then I'll put him down with my last bullet. Yeah, exactly. Just enough to kill them. Oh, it's fine. It looks like I meant to do it. I want to see some of that shit in the trailers. I don't want to see someone going, pow, pow, pow. I want to see, pow, pow, oh, fuck, let me just, give 1 second, just reloading. Oh, fuck. Oh, shit. Res. Save for res.
Well, while we're at it, can we get rid of PC builds being shown when it's as their version of the game in the trailer? Like, this was captured on a PC. I understand that's probably where you're going to be doing all your development stuff, but for the sake of this, I know you have an Xbox or a PlayStation dev console within your establishment. That's what I want to see it running on. If this is an Xbox game, run it on your Xbox dev system. I don't want to see it on a PC that's NASA can set a fucking rocket off on it. I want to see it on your everyday consumer console. That's what I want to see this shit on, because it's just wool over the eyes. They are literally blagging you to try and force you to buy their game
100%
when it's not ever going to look like that.
It's the same as when you see like a mobile game and you'll get like either a cartoon, it's like animated TV cartoony, traditional cartoony sort of thing, or you'll get some full CGI world and you're looking at what's basically like one of the, is it Skyrim that has the incredible trailers ahead of each game? Like we watched one at Gamescom which was like some cat thing. Was that Skyrim or was that an Elder Scrolls?
That was for ESO.
Yeah, so Elder Scrolls Online. So Elder Scrolls has these phenomenal cinematics. But you see that, and then it shows you the gameplay, and it's like a top-down mobile game that you're looking like, is this like old school Zelda? Not Tears of the Kingdom, but like Zelda, like. So yeah, that sort of shit can get in the bin for me. When devs show a new game and it's CGI, I literally have no idea what's going on. Yeah, in the bin. And same with Bibi saying on the PC. If it's a PC, sometimes you develop it on the PC, so you've got to catch it from the PC. But there should be legal requirements to make sure that you're not doing it on a 4090 fucking TI graphics system. You're doing it on the equivalent of a Series S. This is what it looked like if you're playing it on a Series S. Throttle what you can do. Yeah, but it doesn't look as good. Correct. That would be false advertising, you tit. That's what we're fucking basing you off.
That's it. It's fraudulent, man. It's false advertising to the and the big get away with it for years, man. Like trailer looks boss, and then we get it and it looks like a shower of shit. Like I don't like it. Don't rate it. I'm surprised Watch Dog haven't been brought in before, because it's definitely not what you're trying to sell to me. Trading standards should be involved. Like, it's absolute bullshit.
I love the fact, speaking about absolute bullshit, that the discussing now that's been on stream all the way through the cycle says, Phil Spencer, PS users are better. Fact. No one's even mentioned that.